if you have got another household where the income is low, which is Y star, so if you give if you divide this income Y into 2, so that each member will get Y by 2. And each member will generate the work capacity up to point C. Okay? So the total household capacity will be height C multiplied by 2, which is up to point D here. Okay? I think it will be slightly higher. It will be somewhere, I think it will be somewhere here. Okay, my drawing is not perfect here. Okay? So let's say it will be somewhere D. So the D is the total household capacity when you divide the resources equally. Okay? And the C is the household work capacity of the individual members. Okay? But as opposed to this equal division, suppose household Y, the poor household gives all the resources to one individual. So the one person will get Y, another person will get 0. So the person who gets Y can generate the household work capacity up to E. And clearly E is much greater than D. Okay? So if we believe in this shape of the work capacity curve, which is increasing first and the decline diminishing later on, okay, so if we have got this type of convex and the concave curve, then we say that the unequal division, which means that giving all income to one person Y will generate greater household capacity, which is up to E. Okay. Now here, if you see that this part, the lower part is quite flat here. It's because at a very low level of nutrition or income, your work capacity doesn't increase that much, because each individual will need a certain minimum level of nutrition just to survive. Okay, so at a very low level of income, although your income or nutrition goes up, the curve is quite flat because the increasing return doesn't kick in. Okay, it kicks in only after beyond a certain point. Let's say from here. So from here, it is quite steep, but below this point, it's quite flat. Okay, so which means that each individual needs a very basic minimum level of nutrition just to survive. It has got nothing to do with the work capacity. Okay, so that's what you need to understand. But all these are there in the textbook. Okay. So here we have said that the total household capacity will be at E, so which is greater than D. So therefore that is efficient. Okay. So that's what we have said at the beginning, that yes, that is the efficient way of doing or allocating resources within the household when the income is lower, when there is no credit constraint. Okay. Right. So here we say that below a critical or threshold level of income, the unequal consumption allocation creates a greater household work capacity than the equal allocation. So here the dilemma is whether you go for efficiency or equity, and below this Y star. So the household cannot afford to achieve both at the same time. Okay. And also, we say that above this threshold level of income, the equal division is better. Okay, because if you go back here, so below this, beyond this Y star, if you come here, if you give all the resources to one person, then the household work capacity will be here, which is lower than B. But if you divide it equally, then each person will get up to here. So the work capacity will be, each person's work capacity will be up to there, and the total household work capacity will be somewhere here. Okay. So beyond Y star, it is better to allocate resources. More equally. Okay. So from here we know that if there is poverty, so in a poor household there will be unequal allocation of resources within the household, and when the income or nutrition crosses the convex part of the capacity curve, the individual attains a certain minimum level of nutrition, and therefore the productivity will kick in from that point onward. Okay. Now, given that we understood, okay, what will happen here, that it is efficient to do that. Now you can always argue that, okay, it is because of this level of Y, that's why the efficiency is dominating the equity. You can always argue. So, but we have got two assumptions there. One is the level of income is low, and also when the credit constraint is binding. So what is the role of the credit here? The role of the credit here is that it is a credit that can push the level of y from here to y star. So if the credit constraint is not binding, then we can argue that the household with level of income y can move to y star if they can have access to the credit if they have got access to the credit market. Okay. So if we can release this credit constraint assumption, then the household can achieve both the efficiency and equity at the same time. Okay. So therefore, it is possible to prove that the y and y star, the income and the credit constraint together can create this kind of situation. Okay. Then now here you can say that to what extent it is because of the y. Is it because of the y or is it because of the other factors? Let's say we talked about labor market, okay, or we talked about productivity. Here we are assuming that it is only because of the income and nutrition. That's why we are getting this sort of results. But some people can always argue that no, it is not because of the income. It is rather because of the labor market. Okay, because even if you allocate more resources, or even if you divide them equally, the labor market doesn't provide or doesn't offer the equal salary. Okay, so we cannot say that each person's work capacity, if you divide them, each person's work capacity will be either C and A, and then the household capacity will be the C or A multiplied by 2, because we know that the labor market is imperfect. They may also discriminate. Okay? If the labor market discriminates in the sense that if the labor market offers higher wage to individual A, although the individual B is getting the lower wage, even after having the same skill, then of course the household will allocate more resources to A, because the household is just responding to the labor market incentive, the labor market structure. So it has got nothing to do with credit market or nothing to do with income. It is something to do with the labor market, how the labor market treats the individual. For example, the male versus female. So the female workers, they get less wages for the same level of skill, then the household will also allocate resources accordingly so that they can maximize the overall household utility or welfare. Okay, so it could be due to labor market as well. And also we say that is it only because of the income? It could be because of the factors like let's say a cultural factor or non-economic factor, let's say the inheritance. Some individuals or in some countries, because of the religious or cultural reasons, the girls, they inherit less than their male counterpart. Okay, the daughters get less than the son, for example. Okay, so if because of this inheritance law, if the daughters or the females, they inherit less in comparison to their male counterpart, then that will restrict their access to the credit market as well. Okay, so it is not because it's not the bindings from the credit market. It is rather because of the inheritance law. That's why they have got the less access to the credit market. Okay, so we need to understand these the sources of discrimination better. So if we just say that no, it's all because of this nutrition, all because of the income, then we may address the wrong. And if we cannot identify the sources of the problems correctly, then we may intervene, or the government may intervene at the wrong place. The government may say that, okay, provide more nutrition, okay, give them the food voucher. The poor household will get the food voucher, and that will solve the problem. But the problem is not about nutrition, it's not about income, it's about the inheritance law, it could be about the labor market. So if you cannot solve these sort of problem, the labor market problem and the inheritance law and other credit market problem, then by giving nutrition may not be sufficient to address this. Okay, so we'll see them more tomorrow, and so I think that's all for this lecture. And just very briefly about your assignment that you have submitted. So I'll start returning them, I think most likely from tomorrow, if your mind QT. Your tutor might have returned already some of your assignment.